Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Collector Car Stories podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Our frequent viewers will know that we followed the travels of George and Adam as they made their way in their 2007 Audi A8L all the way from Ancaster, Ontario to the Arctic Circle and even the Arctic Ocean at Tuktoyaktuk. So what an odyssey they undertook. It was really neat to follow them around. You'll remember, our frequent viewers anyway, will remember that we finished the first of the two parts with them, leaving viewers hanging on what the car was that they chose for their epic drive. And then it was revealed early in the second part, and we talked about the 2007 Audi I just mentioned now. So the same day, we got a little tour of the 2007 Audi A8L. I can't remember exactly, but it's into the 230 or 240,000 kilometer range. So far from a new car, but these guys refurbed it themselves before they did their trip. And you'll see that they had a little checklist of items handwritten right onto, I can't remember now if it was the hood or the trunk, but the last item in the list was 0 breakdowns. Now you might wonder why I'm recording this introduction in front of a vintage BMW painting, or print rather, and that's because we were just advantageous that day. George had driven over to Adam's house, and right next to the Audi was George's 1992 BMW 5 Series. I believe it's a 525i. I'm going on memory because I didn't review the video immediately recording this. It's been some weeks back, and I'll also add that the model that he has was not available in the Canadian market in 1992. It's a Japanese market car. But we'll get into all the details. As I say, we were just advantageous, kind of a cool car. And for me, it was interesting to see what the guy who drove all the way the Arctic Circle has for one of his, I'll call it one of his daily drivers. I know he doesn't drive it all winter long, certainly, but it's one of his summer cars. So here we go, back to Adam and George talking about the 2007 Audi A8L that took them all the way to the Arctic Circle, and then an opportunistic little video about George's 1992 BMW. Here we go. Thank you for watching. Oh, and do remember, we do these collector car stories about once a week. And if you are an enthusiast yourself and you have a car you want to talk about, or a similar adventure, or some kind of a car story that you think might suit our Collector Car Stories podcast, please contact us. There's a contact us link on the website, or you can email us at admin@collectorcarcanada.ca. We'd like to hear about it, and maybe we'll feature it on a future episode. Over to Adam and George. Thanks for watching, everyone. All right, here we are back with Adam and George on Adam's driveway. We have a couple of cars to show you. We talked about the 07 Audi A8L that you see before us. George also has a car here, being that we're at Adam's place. He's got a really cool BMW 525 1992 525i. He just told me a cool story about it, so we'll get into that. But maybe, and the Beamer we're just going to talk about because we're opportunistic. It's here. It's a cool car. Let's talk about it. But maybe we start with the A8. And like I was just saying before we started shooting, guys, how ordinarily I'd want to have the front of the car visible, but the rear of this A8L's got lots of souvenir bumper stickers. And I think they're a big story of the car. So Adam, the car's at your place. Why don't you start with it? What the heck does that Audi A8 license plate mean?
Really just because it rhymes with Audi A8. I mean, it was, I think during COVID, or maybe just before COVID, when we got the car, and we were talking about doing YouTube videos, and we thought, well, what are we going to call the channel?
Right.
And you're like, well, it's an Audi A8, so what about Audi A8? Yeah.
Well, I figured I was prompting you to circulate the name of the channel, because I do see a sticker more close to the front of the car, and I didn't even put together that it rhymes with Audi A8 because I call those cars Audis for whatever reason. But your answer is very logical. So yeah, why don't we? Yeah, let's take a look at the car a little bit. And you guys can speak to it. Here's what I saw about the YouTube channel. So we will publicize that, but people watching right now can note what the channel is called. And oh, I'm glad we came up front. I didn't realize those lights were up front, both with a happy face. So why don't you walk us through the car? So I think you said the car was a dedicated purchase for the trip.
Yeah. Ultimately, this was the trip that we were building up to, and because of the stories we'd heard about the Dempster, none of us wanted to take our own cars
Right.
up that road, and I'm glad we stuck to that.
Sure.
But that's why we ended up with this car. So it was just a split purchase. and
Yeah.
we've had it
Oh,
for
the two you went 50-50 on it?
Yeah.
Okay. That can challenge a friendship almost as much as 15 days together.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Good. Car looks pretty good. I don't really see even any dents. And has the car not been washed since you got back from the Arctic?
No, it hasn't.
That's great.
It was on an enclosed trailer, truck trailer.
To
so,
come back from Calgary.
it hasn't been washed. It's a little bit cleaner because it's rained,
Right.
but
It was much dirtier.
it was
Sure.
bad.
After the Dempster, and then in Inuvik we had a big downpour which got rid of a lot of the dirt,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Almost like a badge of honor, all the
Yeah.
soiling. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
we spoke about some of the reasons we wanted this, and one of them was the air suspension.
Right.
And everyone is terrified of air suspension, but we've just done 11,000 kilometers in 15 days on dirt, and
Now, you also
Still
told me
nice.
about after purchasing it, you did a bit of work on the car to make sure it was ready. Did you work on the air suspension?
We replaced the two rear struts
Okay.
with one good used ones that I found,
Mm-hmm.
and we were going to do the front ones, but that looked like a job that was a bit sort of above our pay grade, so we left it at just the rear ones.
I know you said you got some good used rear struts. Part of people's, certainly myself, I'm a little nervous around air suspension because I know they're expensive to feed parts into. I've owned a Mercedes with air suspension. I was lucky with it, but I was always kind of nervous about it.
But
So, yeah.
I think when we started the channel, actually, even though the big idea was to drive the Arctic, we wanted a car that had hit rock bottom in its depreciation.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Well, I was saying earlier off camera how I love that you didn't drive a brand new SUV or a brand new,
it's boring.
I don't know, Corolla. You brought a car with some character and gave it a lot more.
226,000 kilometers when we bought it.
When you
so it's
purchased
now
it.
got just under 250.
Nice $250,000. Okay. So I say I want to concentrate on the story of the car, but I can't resist talking about some of the specs. I think this is a 4.2 liter V8.
Yep.
Is that about right?
Yep.
Do you remember the factory horsepower rating?
340 or 350.
So
somewhere around
not lazy at all.
there. No,
But I suppose once you got on those, I'll call them gravel roads, you're not using all the power either.
no.
No. Speed
We didn't
limit's
use these
90,
wheels,
so-
by the way. We had
Oh.
it was a set of wheels off a Mercedes GLK.
Okay.
So smaller rim,
Bigger
side,
sidewall,
yeah.
so a little softer ride. But I'll bet on the Trans Canada, if you didn't have traffic, this would just be such a nice highway
Oh,
cruiser. Yeah. Okay, why don't we make our way to the rear? The viewers will appreciate it because I won't be shooting into the sun anymore. But yeah, it's fun to see all these stickers. And maybe if you bought this 07 Audi A7 in 2006, you wouldn't have stuck on all these stickers, but it just adds to the character of the car. So in big block letters, I see Hamilton to Tuktoyaktuk, Arctic or bust. And I'm just noticing now as the camera's rolling, there's a bit of a checklist on the trunk. Is that part of the trip too?
Yeah, we did that at the end.
Oh, I see what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, like
In case we forgot.
Yeah,
one
sure.
car, 2 friends, 2 border crossings. So that was the US-Canada border.
Right.
2 countries, 2 territories, 5 provinces, 6 states, 36 Monster energy drinks, 4 ferry crossings, 17 days, 135 hours of driving.
Sure.
1,364 liters of fuel.
Right. And not 87 in this car.
Well, as you get up north, you don't have a choice.
You got to get 87.
87, and it's like 230, 240 a liter.
A liter,
But we
yeah.
didn't feel it. It was alright.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And 11,300 k's and no breakdowns.
That's amazing.
We had a slow puncture
Uh-huh.
when we got into Inuvik, but that was it. We had 2 spares with us.
You weren't running run flat tires. You had two spare tires.
2 spares, yeah.
You had a square setup, I imagine, too. So
Yes,
the
yeah.
tires could have gone on any
Yeah,
corner. Yeah.
But yeah, we decided we needed to kind of commemorate all of our trips. And,
Sure.
You know, here at the bottom are all the provinces that we've been to. They're not all the provinces that are in Canada or the territories.
Has
We've
this
been to the
car
provinces.
been to each of these?
Correct, yep.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
okay. So let's see if I can name them. I think I see Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Canadian flag. I think the blue one is BC. Is that right? Or is that Alberta? No, that's Alberta because the next one's BC.
Yep.
And then 2 territories there, Yukon and Northwest, and a YT as well.
Yep.
Very cool, very cool. But I'm looking at these stickers on the trunk lid. I think most of them are from this trip. I see a Peely
Yes.
Island. That's
Yeah, this was our very first one. It's another trip we did to go see the big nickel.
oh
up in
yeah, that's
Sudbury,
Sudbury, yeah.
Manitoulin Island. Then
Yeah.
when we did the Great Lakes swim, so we've got these on the Great Lakes swim. Everything else.
That's a band, eh? The Great Lakes Swimmers. Did you know
Oh,
that?
really?
Oh, you'll have to check that out.
all the other stickers are this trip.
Cool, cool. So, as the viewers are putting together, these guys have done some other road trips. We've decided not to talk about those because our content today is going to take care of a couple of episodes, but we do have some content probably for next year's podcast. So we'll hear about some of these other trips. I see the Peely Island, Ontario, and before we started rolling the camera, the guys were talking about the idea of going to the northernmost, the westernmost, easternmost, and southernmost tip. We've heard about the northern today, certainly Peely Island. The guys reminded me it's not only the southernmost point in Canada, it's also the southernmost brewery. And I've been to Cape Spear in Newfoundland, which would be the easternmost. I've been to Vancouver Island. I don't think I've been to the westernmost point in Canada. So of the stickers on the trunk lid, why don't you walk us through the ones that relate to this trip we're talking about today? I can pick out a few of them and maybe tell us what you remember about each of them.
So I'll try and do it in order. From what I can remember, it was Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. We went to, we saw Mac, the world's largest moose.
I bought a car in Moose Jaw once. I flew there and drove it back. It was a great experience.
After that, we
So
stopped-
Max, the what moose did you say?
the world's largest moose.
World's largest moose. That's kind of neat.
Stopped off at the Drumheller Dinosaur Fossil World.
Right.
After that was Lake Louise, which is
The can over
The
there.
can, yeah.
yeah, Lake Louise. Then
Highway that's North 93.
yeah,
Up to Carcross.
Carcross. And then from
Carcross,
there-
you were raving about Carcross. What was it when our sit down you talked about
That
it?
was the smallest desert in the world.
Desert.
Yeah.
Right,
Smallest
right.
desert in the world. Actually, Whitehorse is before that. Then Carcross, and then I think pretty much the rest are from like sort of Dawson City up. So you've got like the Arctic Circle, the Dempster Highway, which we discussed.
City.
Yeah.
What's
There's
it like?
the Alaska Highway, which goes from Dawson Creek all the way across to Alaska. So we were on that for I think about 1,000 km before we headed north towards Dawson City.
Almost like they were going for the shape of a Harley Davidson motorcycle shield.
Almost.
From a distance, I might have been fooled.
And then we just got the Klondike and the Yukon. And if you look at the Watson Lake one, you can actually see they put the signpost forest on there as their attraction in Watson Lake.
Oh yeah. Oh right. You were talking about the various posts.
So it's literally hundreds of posts like these with town names, license plates.
And is anyone entitled to just post a sign on the
seems
post?
like-
We
Yeah.
didn't do our plate, but the truth is, we both wanted our plates for a souvenir.
Sure.
So we didn't put anything there.
Next time. Maybe you'll be there next week. Who knows?
Really far away.
Yeah, just go for a ride next week.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite place.
I know what you
about
mean.
that,
Yeah.
it's just the whole experience.
Yeah.
Was just
Cool.
amazing.
Cool. All right. It feels like a real change of subject. I think we've covered the stickers and they're a really great story. But while we're here, George, why don't you show us your Beamer?
Sure.
So this is a 92 BMW 525i. Japanese market car, I think I heard.
Yep.
Knowing you a little bit, George, I'm thinking maybe it's got 3 pedals.
Yes, it does.
So take it away, telling us about your car here. Style 32 wheels.
Yeah. So left the factory as an automatic with cloth seats.
Ah, yes.
And soon after getting it about 3 years ago, I changed it to 3 pedals, and it's got black leather like it should be.
So I said Japanese market. About how long has it been in Canada, do you know?
2008.
08. So it's
Yeah.
been in Canada 16 years.
It was originally up in Manitoba somewhere, and whoever owned it there was putting maybe 500 kilometers
Okay.
on every year. When I got it, it had 82,000 kilometers.
Really?
It's now got 84, 85.
I know the well,
it's-
it seems anecdotally that a lot of the cars that come from Japan have low miles on them when they're imported, but it sounds like it kept it low in
Yeah,
Canada.
100%.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the only other things I've done to it is that when I got it, it still had its stock 15-inch wheels.
Right.
So I put those style.
I got it. I love these 32s. I'm going to take a close up of those. They're probably a staggered setup, are they?
Setup,
Yeah. Yeah.
And got them refinished, so they're as new
I
as can be.
I can tell they're refinished. Yeah, they look fabulous.
And I absolutely love driving it. Mechanically, it is sorted. You will see there's no leaks underneath. It's
So I think this car, being a 525, it's from the good old days where you knew a displacement from the last 2 digits. Is it a 2.5?
Yes, it is.
Inline 6.
Yeah.
Just like the 325s we used to have a lot of here in Canada.
Yeah.
The E30s or E36s, maybe
E36,
both. Yeah. Yeah.
E46 also.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only recently that the latest
Yeah,
generation.
it's because the displacements are getting smaller, but they don't want to give us smaller numbers because they think people won't buy them without smaller numbers. Those crazy marketers. They're as bad as an online collector car auction platform.
And it doesn't get, I mean, I look after it, but it doesn't get babied.
Uh-huh.
I went on a trip to North Carolina. They have the largest BMW vintage meet in North America.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
in North Carolina. It's
Yeah.
called the Vintage, so there's a pass there which I leave on my mirror.
Oh, we'll take a look at that.
And I drove down with 3 other E34s and an E32. It was a 13-hour drive, and we did it in one go.
So George is saying E34. I know this to be the E34 is the body style, the BMW code for the body style. What's an E32,
It's the
George?
7 Series, same generation, but the
Okay.
7 Series.
Oh, a very pretty car
So
as well.
we did North Carolina 13 hours
Yeah.
in one go,
Okay.
and
We'll probably be able to
Very
find a website. We'll put the
Very
web link up for that meetup as well.
but yeah, I'll show you inside. So
Sure.
I also had the windows tinted just to look after the plastics
Winted
in there.
Tindos, as I like to call them. Nice 3-spoke wheel.
Yeah.
That was almost misplaced in an automatic car. It's great to see that
That's-
5-speed.
I've actually changed that.
I'm
It
not
was a full-
surprised.
It was a full. It was the
I'm not
bus
surprised.
bus steering wheel.
Oh yeah.
And every time I had my foot on the brake and I was turning, it would touch my knees.
So we got 260k speedometer with a 7,000 TAC with a red line of about 62 or 63. I certainly recognize that shift knob from my E46s. And I love that analog clock beside the aftermarket deck. And would this car have been fitted with, oh, look at this hat in the passenger seat. That's kind of neat. Would this car have been fitted with AC originally
Yes.
in the Japanese market? I guess
Yes.
every 525 would have come with AC,
Yeah.
even in 92.
Even a friend of mine's got a 520 that was originally in the Vatican.
We didn't have 520s brand new in
but
Canada.
He's imported it, and it's also got AC.
Yeah. We can see a power seat here as well. And the 3 pedals. Boy, you keep it nice and clean, George. It's almost like you have a side business detailing cars.
I actually do.
Oh, you do, eh? What's the name of it? We got to send some business your way.
GB's Garage.
GB's Garage. Okay, very cool. And there's another look at a Style 32 in the rear. And the familiar BMW logo. George, are you familiar with the origin of this logo?
Yes.
You are. Tell
Yeah.
us, what is it doing for us?
Before BMW made cars, they
Yes.
made plane engines.
Yes. So why are they blue and white?
Oh, that's the propellers
Right on.
of the.
You passed
of
the
truck.
test.
Yep.
Awesome.
Should hope so. I've got
Awesome.
3 of them.
Awesome. Here's the 525, and they don't make these trunk lid releases like this anymore, but that's a cool little detail.
And you can see some of its Japanese heritage here.
Sure.
If you look here, we've got some Japanese writing over there.
So built in Germany, of course, folks, but it was built for the Japanese market.
Yeah, and over here, I suspect
look
it
at
says
that.
unleaded.
Unleaded
Don't
fuel
take my
only.
word for it though.
And CD changer too. I would say original, but probably dealer installed.
It's definitely original.
Yeah, cool. And 2 pumps here as well. All right, well, it's way off topic, but it was too cool a car not to talk about. So, George, thanks for the tour of
You're very
your
welcome.
1992
Yes.
BMW 525i. All right, so Adam is still with us as well. Another thank you guys for walking us through your trip. I really enjoyed it,
Yeah,
and
thanks for listening.
I suspect our viewers will too. Just a shameless plug to finish. Please don't forget to like, share, and always, you want to subscribe to this channel. You want to get these stories first. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.